Hey guys, welcome back to another Toy Bro review. I am, as always, the Toy Bro, and we are going to take a look today at one of the figures from the most recent Bandai Legacy Power Ranger series. We've got the White Ranger here from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This guy comes in a wave with the remaining MMPR, which is himself and Yellow, as well as the remaining In Space Rangers. So we'll take a look at packaging real quick. We've got the same kind of standard box they've come in. We've got our figure in the window. We've got the lightning bolt effects with the logos, the figure himself, and a kind of a bust of him. I actually like this packaging. I think it's very Power Rangers-esque, so I'm pretty okay with it. It looks good. It's solid. It presents well on a shelf too. We've got the Build a Megazord on the back for his season. He does not come with a piece though. That is for the 5 core Rangers, and then we've got the figures in the wave. So let's pull them out and take a closer look. All right, so is our White Ranger out of the packaging. And if you guys saw my review of the Green Ranger, which is the only other Legacy Ranger that I've purchased thus far, I am kind of middle ground with these guys. I don't think they're very good. I don't think they're very bad. I actually had some issues with the Green Ranger. Thankfully, I don't seem to have them here. I think the figures are all right, but let's go over this one in particular, and we'll see how he stacks up a bit. So first things first, we'll take a look at Sculpt, and I think this is pretty decent. It's very similar to the other Rangers because they all share kind of a similar body structure in terms of the males anyway. And so it's basically the same that you're going to get in terms of body size and the underlying sculpt of the body itself. The big thing for me is going to be this head and the helmet. I think it's very well sculpted. It looks good. There's a lot of line work in there, and it's very accurate to the show. I think it's very nice. I don't have any issues with that. It's very, very clean. The shield that he wears is sculpted pretty well. It's a little, and this isn't sculpt, but it's a little flat for me. Something about it. It seems like it needs to be a little more metallic. The gold on the armor for the gauntlets, the boots, and the shield do not match the gold on the helmet. This is far more metallic and shiny, and I think that's probably going to be one of my main concerns. The sculpt of it, though, is good. It looks correct. It's scaled appropriately to the size of the figure, so I like it. My only real problem is that I have a dent in. If you can see it, you can see the light reflecting off of it right there. There's a dent in it, and there's a couple nicks in it as well, in the plastic itself, not in like the paint or anything. He does have the sculpted belt with the buckle from the Die Ranger show, because White Ranger was not from the original Japanese show that became Mighty Morphin. He's from the season after, so he has a different buckle, sculpted well. We've got the holster for Saba. This actually pegs on. It's a different piece. It comes in the package. It's not considered an accessory. And then we've got the boot cuffs down here, which are sculpted pretty nice, as well as the wrist cuffs. So overall, sculpt-wise, I think he looks pretty good, and I'm pleased with how the helmet turned out. I think if there was one thing that could have gone wrong to make this figure look bad, it's the helmet. Those are obviously iconic for the characters. Even the chest emblem is sculpted really well. It all comes down to color for me that is somewhat of an issue. We've got the Saba Sword as his quote-unquote exclusive accessory as the package states. I'm not sure why they use that terminology. This will pop off. Saba is sculpted really well. It's got just a single blade, so Saba is retractable. So they chose to sculpt the long form of him. We've got the emblems sculpted in. Everything's sculpted and painted very well. The tiger head looks really good. Even the eyes are painted correctly. So I'm very pleased with that accessory. As far as paint goes, we'll move on to that. There honestly isn't tons on the figure itself. There is and there isn't. It just depends on where you look. So the figure is obviously molded in white plastic. That's to be expected, and I can't fault him for that. That's normal. The belt is molded in the gold plastic, and the gauntlets appear to be molded gold as well, with the black being painted. Seems to be the same case for the shield. So that's why this is different than the paint on the helmet. The helmet is cast in white, and then it's painted with all the other accents. So we've got the silver, the black, and the gold. And I like the metallic nature of the gold, and everything is actually very clean. I don't have any real problems there. I am surprisingly quite pleased with that helmet. It looks really, really good. Now, as far as articulation goes, this guy is standard for this line, and that's going to be, if you've seen the Green Ranger figure, you know what to expect, but if not, we'll go over it real quick. Head is on a ball and a hinge, so he can swivel around. He can't look back too far, but he can look down a decent bit. The arms can go all around, but the shield is obviously going to get in the way there. But they have full rotation, full movement, full range of movement. And then we've got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. The wrists are on a ball with a hinge. And I've said it before in the other review, I don't like this joint. I think it's ugly, but it is quite versatile. So I can't fault him in that regard. I don't think it's very attractive. There is a crunch. The shield is going to get in the way going down, but on the backside, he'll move quite a bit. He does have a waist twist. The legs can go all the way out, so you can get him to do complete splits. There is a thigh cut at the joint at the upper thigh, and again with my Green Ranger, I just think this is an ugly joint. I don't particularly care for it, but it is very versatile and it does what it's supposed to do well. The legs are double jointed at the knee. There is a boot shin swivel, however you want to call it, and the ankles are on a hinge and a swivel. Rocker. So overall, he's pretty decent in terms of articulation. I just think some of the joints are a little ugly, but they do what they're supposed to do and they do them well. So far, because I had issues with the Green Ranger figure, I like the White Ranger better. But they're in the same realm of level of figure. Something about these figures still kind of bugs me. They're also out of scale. Power Rangers are not supposed to be this big and kind of beefy, but I'll get to that in a minute, and I'll do some comparisons with other figures. This is obviously a more American interpretation of a Power Ranger figure. It is toned down a bit, but it's not really screen accurate to the Japanese Sentai. So maybe that's part of the problem for me, but overall for a $20 figure, he's not too bad. So let's take a look at this guy compared to some of the other more mainstays in the Power Ranger kind of figure universe. All right, so for a little bit of comparison, here is our Legacy figure in the middle, obviously, with the SH Figuarts White Ranger or Kiba Ranger, depending on which box you have, and then the original 93 Bandai America Power Ranger. So obviously there's a bit of a difference. This is just for comparison's sake of the vintage line. There is no comparison between this figure and the rest in terms of quality of toy. But between these two, the Figuarts is always going to be my choice. This is my Ranger line of choice, and I have way too many Power Ranger Figuarts for it not to be. These figures are more accurate to the Sentai, which is obviously the case because they are Japanese toys. These are made for the American audience. I'm not saying that this isn't a good figure. He's surprisingly better than I expected. I just think that for my money, this is what I wanted, and this figure delivers quite a bit. Paint's better, sculpt is better, articulation is better. He's obviously a different size, but Figuarts are a slightly smaller scale anyway, so that's just a difference in general. But if this guy is a little harder to get now, he's obviously more expensive. They don't make Sentai Figuarts anymore either, so this guy will be a good replacement if you're into this line to pick up a White Ranger, solid figure, good sculpt, good accessory. Overall, pretty decent figure. I am, like I said, I am a little bit more pleased with this guy than I thought I was going to be because I had so many stupid issues with the Green Ranger. And, I might end up getting the rest of the MMPR line. They are going to re-release them with a metallic type sheen, kind of like they had in season 3 of the show. Because they didn't release them with their power weapons for whatever reason. They decided to release them with just the blade blasters. Fans got really pissy about that, so they're going to re-release them with their actual weapons, and I might get them then. Not 100% on that yet. If I do, we will have some more reviews, but for now that's going to do it for this guy. He is a pretty decent figure. If you can find him, I would grab him. I happened to cross him at Target, just randomly saw him, wasn't even looking for him, had to get him though, just to take a look and let you guys know what I think. So solid figure overall. All right, so that is going to do it for this one, everyone. As always, stay tuned for more reviews. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, that whole deal. And until next time, everyone.